it is an honor to tell you that football is the greatest sport that has ever existed. Divisional round weekend had record-breaking numbers. ESPN has just reported that the Chiefs-Texans game had 32.7 million viewers. That is the most watched NFL game on ESPN in the history of the network. And the reason why people were tuned in is because the Chiefs is still the Chiefs. Patrick Mahomes is still Patrick Mahomes. Travis Kelce is still Travis Kelce. Andy Reid, especially with a bye week, is still Andy Reid coming off a bye week, let alone Spags and Tobe, the special teams coordinator. But in a massive moment, Travis Kelce and Patrick Mahomes are going to make plays. Travis Kelce has cemented himself in postseason folklore. He is now a leader in receiving yards. He's going to become a leader in everything if he continues to play after this season, which all signs are indicating he will. He had his best game by far this season, up over 100 yards receiving. Obviously had a touchdown where Patrick Mahomes did something absolutely filthy, falling forward, diving, hitting Travis right in between the 8 and the 7, which will be a massive part of the conversation today after the divisional round. And then with the fireworks going off behind Travis Kelce, with his lady in attendance sitting next to Caitlin Clark, it was a magical day for the Kansas City Chiefs. But the conversation of this particular game, everywhere, everybody is seemingly saying that at the beginning of those games over there, when they sing the national anthem, what they should be saying is, the home of the Chiefs. Oh. They're calling them cheaters.
Yeah, they are.
They're saying the refs are working in Patrick Mahomes' favor. They're saying that all the bullcrap calls that we hate about football seemingly always go in the championship's favor. How come Patrick Mahomes always getting these calls everybody else isn't getting? Lamar Jackson, who we will certainly talk about later, he got hip drop tackled on his sideline super late. No call at all. This comes right after a game where Patrick Mahomes was seen flopping on the sideline, which everybody say you can't do that. If you're going to be the face of football, you can't be flopping around like that. You can't be taking advantage of the situation that you are, Patrick Mahomes. Houston Texans, hell of a season. Thank you for representing the AFC South. But the Houston Texans, I think Joe Mixon and many others, even Coach D'Amico Ryan said, you know it's going to be when you're playing Chiefs, okay? You know it's going to be. No, what does that mean? We all just have come to understand that the refs are going to help the Kansas City Chiefs. That is seemingly the narrative that everybody's bought into. If you're a Chiefs fan, you say, hey, sorry, ball bounces our way. If you're the rest of the NFL, you're certainly going to be finding reasons to hate the team that's gone back-to-back as Super Bowl champs and looking to do something that no team in the modern era has done, which is win 3 straight. But it has got loud. And Troy Aikman was basically, I'm done with it.
Awesome.
This is bullshit. All of it. I don't like any of this stuff. The calls are crap. They're trash. I don't like the way they're calling this game. I don't like the way Patrick Mahomes trying to take advantage of it. And I think as that continues to happen, maybe the refs will have a little better eye on it all. Maybe they'll be able to stay focused. But this is what happens when you're at the top of the mountain. This is literally how it goes. Now, the Chiefs obviously move into the AFC Championship. Congrats to them. That is absolutely awesome.
KC.
One half of the hammer, Don Cowboys. Who they can be playing over there? Another dream matchup in the AFC Championship.
Yeah, another dream matchup. They were playing the Buffalo Bills, and everyone expects me to absolutely destroy the Baltimore Ravens. I am not going to do that today.
Really?
No, because if I were to do that, if I were to blame Lamar Jackson, or if I were to blame Mark Andrews, I would be a loser, according to Dan Orlovsky.
I saw that Dan Orlovsky said if you watch that game and you want to blame Lamar Jackson for the loss, respectfully, you're a loser.
Oh, respectfully.
And he said if you want to watch that game and you want to blame Mark Andrews, respectfully, you're a loser.
Ah.
So, Tony, you don't want to be a loser in Dan Orlovsky's eyes, because if you're a loser in a loser's eye, I mean, that's...
Bingo.
I mean, that's trying to say, but not that Orlovsky's a loser.
Wow.
I didn't mean that.
Yeah.
That came out wrong. I didn't know that. But that is sports media world. Somebody's going to get blamed, and that is kind of how it immediately works. We knew this was going to happen with this Bills-Ravens game. The loser was going to get some terrible things said about him, even though both of them have had an absolutely wonderful season. The Buffalo Bills, though, I think I forgot, as somebody that picked the Baltimore Ravens, I forgot that all they need to do is just win this game. It's not about, like, can they win every game? It's not like who's more dominant, who's more spectacular. Him dropping it off to the tight end in the middle of the field, okay, you got it. Shakir making some big catches.
Yep.
Then they go empty backfield. Who's tackling the 6'6", 240-pound guy who's used to the snow? All they had to do was prepare for one team in one situation. I think the snow helped them, even though Baltimore's no stranger to the cold weather. And in the third quarter, the Baltimore Ravens, they come out, they do AFC North football. Pound, 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 and it works.
Yes, it did.
First half, I think they had like 21 yards rushing with Derrick Henry. Then in the third quarter, I think they had 70 yards in one drive alone. Derrick Henry, Patrick Ricard, the offensive line just pounded that Buffalo Bills team that only plays nickel. They're too small. They're not going to be able to handle it. Then they have a 2-point conversion. What do? They throw it. They throw the ball.
Yeah.
And there's a couple different times where there's been 5, I guess, 2-point conversion attempts this season for the Baltimore Ravens. Derrick Henry's got the ball, and none of them, not a single one of them, has Derrick Henry got the rock. Now, that is going to be judged. That is going to be picked apart. But this Buffalo Bills team, wagon, and I think a lot of us forgot about that.
Yeah, the Bills team is a wagon. Obviously, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson was the battle of the MVPs. The Guardian Cap boys were awesome last night. Taylor Rapp had an interception. Then DeMar Hamlin, he was the one who got Lamar's leg on the fumble where Von Miller took it back. But no, this has kind of been like the story of the Ravens in the playoffs. They haven't been able to get it done. And if you go back to last year, Zay Flowers, he fumbles on the goal line. If he goes in there, the Ravens win that one. Then you start this year, the first game of the season, Isaiah Likely, toe out of bounds by half an inch to start the season. Another game this year where it was 18-10. They score against the Steelers to make it 18-16. They got to go for 2. They don't get the two-point conversion there. And then obviously in this one, Lamar leads an incredible drive down, gets a chance to get the 2-point conversion, doesn't work out. Everyone is killing Mark Andrews for that situation, but it's just another situation where the Ravens didn't come up as they should have in a big spot.
D-Butch, your thoughts on this game and your thoughts on how we should be viewing this? Obviously, Mark Andrews is going to feel terrible. He was on the sideline getting busted up. He lives and works for this moment here. Now, granted, 1:33 left on the clock. Buffalo Bills still have 2 timeouts.
A lot of time left,
Nobody's seemingly saying, Josh Allen could potentially Chiefs. What the Chiefs did to him in overtime when they had to change the rule to this Baltimore Ravens team. All he has to do is get in field goal range. No offense, I know it's just all you got to do, especially against a great Baltimore Ravens defense, whatever the case is. I tend to believe on this particular season, in this particular game, Josh Allen probably 133. He might score too fast, AJ. Lamar might get a chance to come back and tie it again on the other side with the way he'd been playing. What are your thoughts on how that game ended up, D-Butch?
It comes down to ball security. And you can point at Mark Andrews, you can point at Lamar, and AJ kind of talking about it earlier before the show. This is one of those games on good teams, at least everybody kind of looks at themselves and say, hey, what could I have done better? I think the Ravens defense, they play well, especially with all things considered, given those turnovers, but you can't beat a good ball club like that in their house, turning the ball over like that. So the fumble, strip sack from DeMar Hamlin, he'll get credited for that. And then the interception that he threw late. And then obviously for Mark Andrews, it's going to be a long, long offseason. That sucks. But it was two great quarterbacks, 2 great teams. You can't point the finger and blame it on one guy. But Buffalo got it done.
Chiefs, Bills, yet again. More teams get a shot to shine, but they don't. They're down to the same 2 on the AFC side. Now let's go to the NFC. Woo. More teams get a shot to shine. Holy shit. Rookie sensation. Starting to crack into territory that nobody's ever been. Anytime they start saying this is the first rookie to do this since. There's only been 3 rookies that have done this. More wins than these rookies. I mean, what Jayden Daniels is doing in the moments that he's doing them, the way they go about doing their shit is bananas. The amount of pressure that has been on this guy's shoulder. 4th down, we're going for it. It does not matter. He seemingly picks up every single time.
Yeah.
I believe in the playoffs thus far, Jayden Daniels and the Commanders have scored 7 touchdowns. On 5 of those touchdowns, they have either gone for it on 4th down, and that was the touchdown, or during the drive, they've gone for it on 4th down. This is kind of Dan Quinn's MO. Everybody talks about MCDC being his MO. This Commanders team, which a lot of people are calling I think I'm kind of the shade, but I'm not going to say it. But a lot of people are talking about that, But this Commanders team, AJ, there's a chance that they could shine. I'm a believer. And this game, this national championship, I think a lot of people are like, does Notre Dame have enough talent to keep up with Ohio State with what they've been able to do? I just saw the Commanders beat the Lions. I don't think anybody expected that in Detroit.
Beat the hell out of
but
them.
Yeah, they might, and everyone's talking about, we know Jayden Daniels and all the praise that he is getting, but I think you almost can't say enough about this dude. I think what I think about when I think about that game, Detroit came back and they got it within 3 points towards the end of the third quarter. Detroit makes it a game. Here we go, within 3 on the road. Detroit has some momentum. What does Jayden do? He leads them on a 15-play, 75-yard drive that ends in a touchdown to Brian Robinson on a 1-yard run. This guy he's unflappable. And we say that a lot about other quarterbacks, I think. But Jayden's on, like you said, there's levels to this. Jayden, the way, it's unbelievable by Terry McLaurin right here as we're watching. But I think when a quarterback has that moxie, when he has that cool, calm demeanor, that I've said it a million times on here, it trickles down to everybody on the roster, every player, and every single team, or every single coach, I should say. Like Cliff Kingsbury has to feel so confident whenever he's calling into Jayden Daniels, like he knows, like this guy, he's going to protect me, he's going to protect the team, and he's going to protect the ball. And that's what
that was a fadeaway.
Yeah, come on.
Bad footwork, not what you're supposed to do. Right, do it. And then Zach Ertz, obviously, what he has become for this particular team. He and Cliff Kingsbury have a great relationship, but it was like buzzsaw, juggernaut. The over, obviously, we all thought was going to happen, but I thought the Lions were going to be able to just joust with anybody because they've had to do that all year. But what this Commanders defense,
taking the ball
when they have to. Now, obviously, Jared Goff throws for 3 interceptions. Jameson Williams throws 1 interception. Then there's a fumble in there. 5 turnovers by the Detroit Lions. Abnormal game for them. People are saying it was a Jared Goof football, man. I didn't like that at all.
Yeah, well, guess what? Fairy tale is over, Detroit. You guys are a dump again. It stinks for you, but I hope you had fun these last 2 years because it's done. MCCB, I mean, he's one of my favorite coaches. I love the emotion from him, but he is now the Motor City Crybaby.
Whoa, easy!
That's what everyone's calling him, and it stinks because, if I were to be the head coach of Jared Goff, I'd probably be crying too because that was embarrassing. Now, for the record, he did get concussed in the second quarter when they had their pick 6 because he got absolutely obliterated. And if you have to bring in a high school coach to play quarterback for a couple plays, that's never good. Jameson Williams kind of with the sweet little return and then having sex with the ground only to turn around and throw a terrible interception is brutal. But I'll tell you what, it stinks. I feel bad for MCCB, and they're losing both their coordinators. Ben Johnson, he's out of there. He doesn't want to.
Allegedly.
No, according to, in his words, Black Adam Schefter, Adam Pac-Man Jones, Ben Johnson is now the head coach of the Raiders. His words, not mine, and I trust him. Kelly Moe heading to the Cowboys as well. We'll see what happens there, though. But it stinks for Detroit. I genuinely feel bad.
Okay.
It's hard to win Super Bowls, and I told Foxy this morning. I said, hey, Foxy, story's over, brother. I hope you enjoyed these last 2 years. You guys are going back to the dump. You're paying Goof $215 million for the next 4 years. So I'm sorry, Foxy.
It ain't the NFC Championship. He's won games. They've won games.
Yeah, absolutely. In his biggest game in the Super Bowl with the Rams, he scored 3 points. But that's not, again, we don't have to bring that up.
Who was that against? Who was that against?
Against the Patriots in this building.
Well, that's Bill Belichick, brother. That's what Sean McVay has so much respect for.
Absolutely, and I do too. And Sean McVay's won a Super Bowl without Goof now. But again, look, it just sucks. I feel bad for Detroit. I feel bad for the people of Detroit. I feel bad for Eminem. People are saying LeAngelo Ball might have tweaked his way into a curse.
Yeah.
But again,
I saw Cameron talk about that.
It's not good.
That's kind of legit.
There's a lot of different opportunities to perform. It's a big game in Detroit, biggest it's been in a long time. You go with, I mean, a little bit of a hook, obviously.
Sure.
Decisions were made out there. Obviously, that's going to happen. So stay in the NFC. The Commanders beat the Lions. And Foxy, I don't think it's over. I think MC/DC's culture is cemented in there. I think you're going to win. NFC North's going to be tough going forward. Having to rebuild and reclimb and reinvigorate, reignite, remotivate, renegotiate. I mean, there's a lot that has re-sign offensive defense coordinator. We'll find out here in a second. There's a lot that the Lions are going to have to do, but I think MC/DC's got to figure it out, right? Or are you heartbroken?
I'm heartbroken. I'm heartbroken, but I trust MC/DC. But everything you just said is why I am so heartbroken. It's going to be so hard to have that season again. It's going to be so hard to have this team go in and try to win a Super Bowl. Expectations have never been this high, and we played our worst ball at the most important time of the season.
Oh, no.
Goff wasn't good. Coaches weren't great.
No.
Defense got exposed. It was, I mean, as a fan of a team that has gone 0-16, that wasn't heartbreak. That was just embarrassing. But this one was so heartbreaking, worse than the NFC Championship game last year, and to have to redo it all again, be the ones, it's just going to be so hard. And I'm bummed out. I'll be completely honest.
You should be bummed out. We're all bummed out for the entire city of Detroit, and didn't even win a playoff game. Foxy's big dream there for a long time was 9-7, win a playoff game. 10-6, win a playoff game. That's what he wished for his entire life. They didn't even win a playoff game.
15-2, no playoff game.
Had a home field advantage, could have throughout the entire millions and millions more dollars coming to the city for another game. Instead, they lose.
need it.
MCDC is going to motivate. Well, we don't need to take shots at the city. They're going through it.
You're right.
MCDC is going to remotivate and get Crew go. And then who are they going to be taking on in the NFC Championship? The Washington Commanders will be traveling to where? The nation's first capital, D-Butch. This Philadelphia Eagles team is an absolute wagon. In that weather yesterday, it was obviously Matthew Stafford's Matthew Stafford.
Yeah.
Mad respect. Big Oos, Puka Nacua has an incredible catch. Matthew Stafford has a couple no-lookers. The snow seemingly didn't affect him except for the turnover when he was going to go try to hand the ball off or whatever the case. But that Philadelphia Eagles offense, that Philadelphia Eagles team, in that snow, that weather, feels like it was set up for them to go and Saquon's sick, gone.
Yeah.
Anytime he gets the rock, there's an opportunity.
And now it goes through Philly. So you talked about those elements. Who knows what the elements will be next week? Obviously a familiar opponent with the Commanders coming in there. It's be their third time facing off. But all the things that AJ talked about with Jayden, as far as the confidence you have, it's the same thing with 26. Like Jalen Hurts, he comes out and throws for 130 yards. And you got a guy like this who you can hand the ball off to. And you know, as a defense, he went for over 250 against the Rams back in week 12. So as a defense, you're keying in on 26 all throughout the game. First quarter, breaks a 62-yarder to get him out in front. And then in the fourth quarter, he breaks a 70-something yarder to make him go up 2 scores. So you know 26 is going to get the ball outside those tackles. Once he hits the gap, once he breaks a tackle on that second or third level, he is out the gate to take it home. So when you have to deal with this run game on offense and then obviously Philly, what they have on defense, monsters all up and down that roster. I mean, Howie Roseman, he's done an incredible job putting this roster together. But this Saquon Barkley offseason move may have been the best offseason move of the offseason.
And Mara's watching it all, you know, and as Saquon is running down the field, hitting himself in the helmet, I think that's like him saying, like, we knew. Like, he knew.
Yeah.
You know, he always knew he was supposed to be in these moments and what he was going to be able to do. The Philadelphia Eagles offensive line, A.Q. Shipley said you can't win.
Yeah, he did.
Even though you have the greatest offensive line in football, they showcase that you certainly can. Here's some stats I got from Hembo as you read some others on the screen here. Saquon Barkley in the fourth quarter this season, 108 rushes in the fourth quarter, 719 rush yards, which is an average of 6.7 yards per.
Sheesh.
7 rush touchdowns, which is an average of 43.7 yards each one. And then in 2 games this postseason, Saquon has run it 20 times for 141 yards in the fourth quarter. He's a closer. Verse is also a dog.
Yeah,
I'm excited
he
to
is.
watch that Rams team, but congrats to the Philadelphia Eagles and all the Johns over there. Maybe Sirianni isn't a big dumb dipshit, Ty.
Oh, maybe. You know, maybe this guy just wins. And again, we can pull up the graphic of him being the, youngest, winningest coaches, quickest to whatever number since he's been in the league. There it is, most wins in the first 4 seasons. There's been a lot of pretty good head coaches in the NFL. Listen, I know this guy sometimes puts his foot in his mouth in his press conference.
Okay.
It happens. I know sometimes he gets to the game and he's got some John in the crowd calling him a big dumb dipshit to his face.
And he can't help himself.
He can't help himself. He's a Philly guy at heart. So, he's going to turn around and say, oh, yeah? Watch this. And then, boom, Saquon's taking off for 70 yards. So, I mean, obviously the Eagles are unbelievable. Can't wait for that game next week. Excited for our guy Coop as well because I know,
Oh, Coop.
Shout out, Coop.
Oh, Coop.
Exactly.
Tell me something, Coop. He's real pumped.
He is.
Yeah.
He should be.
As he should. I mean,
Go
this
Birds.
seems real deal. AJ, you think they got a chance? What do you think, AJ? You like the Eagles next
I
week?
do. I love the Eagles. I love Saquon. I think the Commanders have a good chance to go in there and get a win.
Oh, sorry, Coop. Oh.
Wow. No offense to Coop. I love
Yeah,
Coop.
that's
Everything
fair.
that he has done.
Kick his ass, Coop.
Unbelievable resume. His
He
IMDb page is pretty legit. But I think we're going to be in for a barn burner.